The punch landed with a crack that echoed across the drill ground, sending Private Maya Carter sprawling across the dust. The soldier who hit her sneered with twisted pride, unaware that the quiet woman he targeted carried a truth that would end his career before sundown. The platoon watched in shock as she rose without trembling, eyes steady, as if she had been forged in a world far harsher than this one. What city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more real stories about extraordinary people. Maya had arrived at Fort Blackridge 2 weeks earlier, stepping off the transport with a duffel on her shoulder and a calm expression that gave nothing away. The others saw only a new recruit with a small frame and a quiet voice. They did not know her service record was sealed. They did not know she had trained units most of them idolized from afar. She was here under a different name, sent by higher command to observe discipline problems within the base. It was a simple assignment, but it demanded silence and anonymity. Tensions were high in the platoon. Rivalries simmered. The drill sergeant struggled to maintain order. Some soldiers had formed a small group that believed aggression made them superior. Their leader was Staff Sergeant Briggs, a man who believed fear was power and cruelty was strength. From the moment he saw Maya, his eyes filled with disdain. He made snide remarks about her height, her skin color, and her supposed fragility. Maya ignored each one, recording every detail in her mental report. Each morning she stood at attention, steady and disciplined as the air chilled her skin. She answered commands without emotion. She moved with precision that did not draw attention yet revealed years of training to anyone who could recognize it. Most recruits respected her quiet confidence. Briggs, however, saw her composure as defiance. The resentment grew until the morning everything snapped. It was a weapons handling drill. The sun sat low, casting long shadows across the ground. Briggs prowled in front of the formation, barking at those who fidgeted or stumbled. When he reached Maya, he pulled the rifle from her hands and tossed it into the dirt. He told her she was too slow. He called her weak. He tried to provoke a reaction. Maya stayed still, jaw set, eyes forward. Briggs stepped closer until his breath brushed her ear. He muttered an insult aimed at her heritage and her worth as a soldier. The platoon fell silent. They knew the line had been crossed. Maya asked permission to retrieve her weapon. Her voice was calm, steady, and respectful. Something in that calmness ignited Briggs further. He ordered her to step away from the formation. She obeyed without protest. He circled her, taunting her with cruel remarks designed to humiliate. When she remained unshaken, rage seethed through him. Then he raised his fist and punched her across the face. The force knocked her down, dust rising around her. A few soldiers gasped. Others froze in disbelief. No one dared move. Briggs smirked and told her to stay down if she knew what was good for her. Maya wiped blood from her lip and pushed herself to her feet. She did not shout. She did not retaliate. She stood with complete control, which unsettled him more than any act of defiance. He stepped forward again, ready to strike her a second time. This time Maya spoke, her voice low and steady. She reminded him that striking an unarmed recruit without cause violated military code. Briggs laughed and told her no one would believe her over him. He lifted his hand again. At that moment, the air shifted. The platoon snapped to attention as a commanding presence approached. Boots struck the ground with sharp authority. General Raymond Holt, the highest officer on base, stopped a few paces away. His gaze locked on Maya, then on Briggs. The general had arrived unannounced to evaluate discipline. What he had witnessed ignited a storm behind his stern expression. The general stepped between them. He asked Maya if she was hurt. Maya responded with a firm negative and returned to attention. Holt then turned to Briggs. His voice carried the weight of decades of service and the authority of a man who had commanded warriors across continents. He asked Briggs to explain why he had assaulted a recruit in front of the entire platoon. Briggs stumbled over his excuses. He claimed Maya had disrespected him. He said she provoked him. He insisted she was unfit and needed to be taught a lesson. The general's eyes hardened. He told Briggs he had watched long enough to see the truth for himself. He had seen the mockery, the aggression, the personal attack, and the punch that had no justification. Holt then addressed the platoon. He revealed that Private Maya Carter was not an ordinary recruit. She had been sent by High Command as an undercover evaluator. She had trained advanced units. She had earned commendations he was not permitted to list publicly. She had been placed among them to assess leadership integrity and soldier cohesion. A wave of shock rippled across the formation. Soldiers stared at Maya with new understanding. Briggs paled as the realization sank in. He had not only assaulted a soldier, he had assaulted a decorated evaluator sent directly by command. The general stripped Briggs of his rank on the spot. He dismissed him from command and ordered military police to escort him away. Briggs tried to protest, but the authority in Holt's voice crushed every attempt. The man who believed he could break others with fear was removed in disgrace. Once Briggs was taken away, the general addressed the platoon again. He reminded them that strength was measured not by cruelty, but by discipline, respect, and integrity. He told them Maya had shown more strength in her restraint than Briggs had ever shown in his aggression. The platoon looked at her not with pity but admiration. That evening, Maya walked the grounds alone, reflecting on the events of the day. She had not come to be a hero. She had come to observe. Yet her silence had brought out the truth in others. The platoon now trained harder, treated one another with respect, and carried themselves with a renewed sense of unity. Maya's report would commend many soldiers and recommend reforms across the base. As she prepared to leave for her next assignment, she felt a quiet pride, not in the authority she carried, but in the fact that she had shown a group of young soldiers that dignity holds. Greater power than violence. The lesson echoed across the base for months. A leader who rules by fear collapses under scrutiny. A leader who stands firm with respect shapes the future. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.